Hello, hello, and happy Facebook Live time, and Happy New Year. I have not been live since I think it was the 30th of December, so I can't even believe it. This is my first live of 2022. So I hope it's going well for you so far, that it's, starting off with a bang or with good things, and that it's going to be an amazing year for all of you. Hi, Gwen. Hi, MJ. See people joining in. That's wonderful. So I have some fun in store, of course, today. I'm going to be showing a project that was my project for the January Simple Sweet Stampers tutorial bundle. The theme this month was kind of an interesting one, a little different from usual. We're actually using the designer series paper that's a host gift in the annual catalog. It's amazing paper. I've used it quite a bit before. It's got black and white patterns on one side, colored on the other. It's just fabulous paper. And then in addition to that, it's supposed to be a birthday theme. So so it's really fun, and the variety of projects in the tutorial bundle are pretty wide. So if you're not familiar with the Simple Sweet Stampers tutorial bundle, we have 12 designers. We each make a project and contribute it to the tutorial bundle, and it's generally pretty simple projects because only one page per tutorial, and you got instructions and dimensions and a bunch of cute projects rather. Get my P's right here. And for my customers, I give it to customers for free, regardless of the order size. I used to have a threshold of $35, but now I'm just giving it to everybody, no matter if it's a really tiny order or a bigger one. So something to look forward to if you order through me. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Nancy. Good to see people joining in. So anyway, so the tutorial bundle is really, really great. If you purchase from me, awesome. You would get it for free this month. If you are not a customer of mine, you can also purchase them. There's a place on my website where you can purchase them, the classes and tutorials tab. So check that out if you're interested. Let's see what else I have going on before I jump into the project. You guys know the January to June mini catalog is now live. Celebration is live, so we can get free things, whether you order or you host a party or you join Stampin' Up. There's benefits for everybody, which is always so fun. Free goodies, right? Let's see what else. So if you decide to join this month and you join before, by January 20th, you also get free admission to my January Makers Mojo Creative Escape. So there are certain criteria to be able to get that event for free. You have to be on my team. And if you meet certain recruiting and sales thresholds, generally you get it for free. But every brand new team member gets the Makers Mojo Creative Escape for free, their very first one after they join. So it's a really nice perk. So speaking of Makers Mojo, it's happening on the 22nd of January. It's an amazing, chock full of creative ideas event. If you have attended a Makers Mojo Creative Escape in the past, please comment and share your insights. Why should people sign up? Why is it worth the value? Because I know you guys can go out there and look at ideas on YouTube and Pinterest, but this is all consolidated into one place. We do PDFs for every project and tutorial. And for each project we do, we don't just share one idea, we share variations. So sometimes if you see an idea and you see it done in one way, it's hard to kind of get your brain out of the box of I have to make it that way or no way. So what we try to do in the Creative Escapes is give you various alternatives so you can use what you have on hand and create those projects in your own way. So the event is intended to inspire like tons of creativity on your part. And we have a great lineup of presenters. So hopefully you will consider joining us. The deadline to register is January 20th, like I said. And if you join my team, it's free. If you join as a paid participant, it's $45. And that includes 10 presentations, 10 tutorials, and you don't have to participate in Facebook if you don't want to. We send all the links to the PDFs and the videos about a week after the event to everybody who participates. So it's a great option for people who don't want to do Facebook or aren't available for that matter. So let's see, what else can I tell you? So that's kind of pretty much it. So let's launch into the project. So what I am featuring today is a new bundle in the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. I'm sorry, in the January to June mini catalog, the one that just went live, called Slim Sayings. Now this bundle is a pretty pricey bundle, but it's a great fun bundle to play with. I'm going to say more about that in just a minute. I'm going to turn the camera down and I'm going to show you what we're using today. All right, so what you see here is just a sampling of some of the patterns, the beautiful patterns in the Pattern Party Designer Series paper pack. And like I said, there's black and whites. There's also all the colorful papers, and just another little plug for my team. I sent this little goodie bag to my team members as a little New Year's gift. We had a New Year's party this past Saturday. I sent them a little sampler of this designer paper, one sheet of each of the papers. Now they're 12 by 12 papers, but everybody got a little sampling of a 6 by 6. So they had all these papers to play with, because my team also gets the Simple Sweet Stampers tutorial bundle for free every month. So I wanted them to be able to turn around and be able to play with the designs that we shared in the tutorial bundle and give them some of what they might need in order to do that. So another little fun reason to join my team. So anyway, so these are just some of the papers. They are so fun and pretty, and I've used them in a couple of projects in the past here, and I'm going to use them again today. So let's take a look at the bundle. So Slim Sayings, there's the stamp set, and then the dies that go with it are these really fun, very different dies that are intended to make a slimline card. So that's one of them. You could, of course, you got this border here, and then there's this second border. Haven't used the borders yet, and then there's another shape, the main one that we're going to use today. I'll show you that in just a minute. There are also coordinating envelopes that are right here in front of me that go with this. So they're nice and long, just exactly the size you need them, in a couple of different colors. Obviously, the white one is the most neutral and versatile, and then you've got the other two. I think that's soft succulent and maybe, I don't know, gray granite maybe? I should look up the colors, but I don't remember what they are off the top of my head. All right, so let's jump in. So this card base measures 8 5/8 by 7.5. This is the 7.5 dimension. So I'm just going to score it at 3 3/4. You could make it a tiny bit smaller if you wanted to, so you could fit it'd be 8.5. But I wanted a little bit more of a border for my die cut piece, so I made it a little bit longer. You're going to use the better part of a full sheet of cardstock anyway, so I figured, I just wanted to make it the size I wanted to make it. So, and of course, 3 3/4 is half of 7.5, so it's going to make our card base. Now, next, I need a piece of black cardstock. This one measures 3.5 by 8.5. Now, I measured this strategically so that when I do the die cutting, I'll have a bit of a border that I can use if I want for something else, because I'm always thinking that way. I'm going to have scraps. Why not make it a useful scrap, right? So I took a piece like this. Now, when I first did this project, I just cut it out with the die and then just figured out how to attach it. And you know what? Let me just show you what we're making, because I like to know where I'm going. I know you guys like to too. So this is my masculine birthday card that we're making. You can see how I got my little sparkle in the back there. Really pretty, simple card, all in all. But there's a couple little details that we'll have to fuss over a bit. So anyway, we got our black piece. So when I did my original card, I used some multi-purpose liquid glue in behind my black cutout shape to attach it, a little bit fussy. So I decided I would do something different this time. So I wanted to use some of my self-adhesive, my adhesive sheets that come in a pack like this. But when I went in, I noticed that I had these little scraps, these strips. I thought, well, I could probably get away with doing the strips. So I'm going to go ahead and do that part. If you haven't used the adhesive sheets, they're really handy. So you just need to kind of work off one corner, very carefully peel it back. And this is my adhesive side. You don't want to touch it with your finger, because if you do, you'll be pulling off the adhesive. It comes off really easily. So next I'm just going to place it in the middle. And I'm just figuring that having one on each edge and one down the middle is probably all that I really need. We'll see if what I'm estimating actually is true, because I did put the white glue all over my other one. Kimmy, you like to make slimlines 8.5 by 3.5. That's probably the more standard, actually. And that way, you can use the 8.5 dimension on your cardstock too, which is nice. Again, I chose to do it slightly differently. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I took my die. So pretend that I took this and put my die over the top and went to die cut it. Okay, so that's what I got here. Now, there was a tiny little edge that came off, would be underneath, but I pulled it off when I took this off. Now, I decided to, it comes off the machine like this, right? And it came off perfectly, where all the pieces were intact. So I decided to put a piece of my press and seal. I don't know if you guys know press and seal. Whenever you have a shape with lots of little pieces, press and seal can be a great tool for pulling up all those pieces, keeping them all together to potentially use in another way. So I am going to try to use these pieces in the way I had imagined, because the die is still on there, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and pull off the die, just like that. All my pieces are intact. And of course, there's my second die. And then I'm going to use the outline, of course. I'm not using the spaces that are filling in the middle. So I'm going to just kind of one by one poke them out. And I really want to leave them in exactly the same spot so that I can potentially use them for another card and have them laid out so they fit in the grooves. Okay, you can see that one just fell out. So I'm going to try to tuck it back in to get it in the spot. Am I off camera? I am. Let's move that up a little. So that one fell out. So I just put it back into place, and then I'm just going to take that whole thing off. Okay, so you can see the back side. I have, the strips of adhesive. I did the same thing on the black piece I showed you. This is just now die cut, and I'm seeing the blue through. So now this one, all I have to do is pull off my pieces on the outside edges. It's easier to see it against the white. And I'm going to have adhesive wherever there is the white on here, okay? It's hard to, I got to put it against the black. So wherever the white is where I'm going to pull off that white backing, and I'll have adhesive back there. All right, that means, I'm going to have to pull each one of those off, but that's okay. Okay, so what I had in mind with this, let's see. This is a little bit of a create as you go kind of thing. So I'm going to grab another piece of my tear and tape. I'm sorry, my press and seal has that same rhythm. And I'm going to put it over the top here because my adhesive on all these pieces is on the back side. So what I really want is the front side against the press and seal. So again, I'm just pulling it away. Now, keep in mind, this is not the card I'm making today. This is a potential use of the negative space. But I wanted to take you through this to see if it would work. Oh no, that one came off in a spot. Like that, okay? So now if I die cut another piece like this in a different color, I could then take this and place it right over the top, you know, and I'd have a two-tone effect, right? Because I could just place it right in there and press it down. I could put some of them on dimensionals. I might have to reposition that one because I think it's not quite in the right spot, but that's how my intention for using this. And I'm going to focus on the card that I'm intending to make today. But if I was going to take the next step with this, I would pull off the backings of all these white pieces. And my plan was to center it on my Pacific point. So the color scheme of the card we're making is Pacific point, but that's just another look at what you could do with the negative space pieces to make another sort of fun card idea. So I'm going to set that aside for now and focus on the card that we're actually making today. And then, of course, I also have the outline piece. Let's see how that looks over the front. I have to always play with new ideas. So this one would actually make a nice little frame around that. Now, you're seeing the black lines sort of muted, so it's not the full effect, but I think there's, you know, some potential for a pretty cool card there. Does anybody else think so? I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Has anybody else purchased this bundle, the Slim, what is it called? What did I say? I want to call it Slim Sayings bundle, but I think it's, I don't know. I forget what it's called. Slim something bundle. Incidentally, I bought this bundle as a 50% off item. So it's a great opportunity when if you host and you get to $450, you get a 50% off item. And this bundle is, it's like $70 something. So it's a great way to use that 50% off benefit. The Slimline bundle. There you go. I leave it up to you, Kimmy. You know these things. You keep me on task here. You're so awesome. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's move on to the next step. Okay, so I got all my backings here. I'm going to need my paper piercing tool. I'm going to need some binder clips for my next step of this process. And this next part of it is just a little fussy because I don't know if you realize it, but what makes the glitter in the background here is actually ribbon. The ribbon, oh, you love it? Wonderful. I'm so glad, Rita. It will be fun. Now, the other thing, right, about this outline, it has the adhesive strips on it. So all I have to do is pull off that adhesive. I planned that. So it would cut off and it would be right at the edge. And now I can use this frame around my piece also, or around something else, or a different card, you know, anything I want. So I was strategic in my planning here. All right, so now I've got my piece of designer series paper, slightly different pattern, just a really simple pattern. This is just dots, this is more lines, but I just didn't want it to be too crazy busy. I'm kind of, don't like things too busy. So the dimensions, 3 1/8 by 8 and 8 1/8, those will be on my website, of course, when my blog goes live, my blog post for this project. Now, I'm not going to attach this right away because I have a strategy for getting my ribbon in place. So I'm going to take my designer paper, which you can see, there's just a little bit of an edge on all sides. And I'm going to place it exactly where I want it. I've got adhesive on the back of this, so you might see these are little adhesive sheets to cover up the adhesive, so it's a little bit easier to work with. So I'm taking some binder clips. Binder clips are your friend, your crafting friend. And I'm just going to place them in a couple of strategic spots. I might move them around as I go. I actually chose the blue to coordinate with the card. They look like they're Pacific Point, don't they? Kind of fun. All right, now I've got this lovely black glitter ribbon, which I absolutely adore. And I'm going to start preparing my ribbon pieces. So this is going to go all the way to the end here, and it's going to wrap around the back side. And we'll just do one piece at a time. I've got a glue dot here, and I know this part is a little bit time consuming, but I think it's worth it. So fun. So there's my ribbon. I've got glue dots on this end and on this end. And what I'm going to do is just the middle section where the point is going to be covered. So I don't have to worry so much about covering that portion as long as it comes pretty close to that point, or maybe just a little bit beyond. And then I'm just going to tuck that in the space there. Lift that up and pull it under. Grab a handy tool to pull it under for me. Should have actually done it. Okay, I have another. I'm going to do the next one slightly differently. It'll make it a little easier. Lift it up. And then I'm just going to wrap it around the back side. And I've got adhesive on the back side, but it's not glue dots. It's not like a super strong adhesive. So now it's tucked right there in that spot. I just thought it was so cool that it was exactly the right width. So let's do the next one. Same idea. And for this one, I'm actually going to tuck it under before I put any glue dots on. And make this a little bit easier on myself. Put a glue dot on the designer paper. Drag it over here so it's just in place. Another glue dot. And I'm going to wrap it around the back side. I got two pieces here. Kind of. Okay, let go. And wrap it around the back side. Okay, so we're going to keep going with this, and my binder clips are keeping it in place where it needs to be. Like I said, this takes a few minutes. We'll do another one here. Snip it off. Tuck it under. Place my glue dot. Attach it. And then again, this middle portion is going to make me a little crazy because it's overlapping adhesive sheets. See if I can get away with doing it without it there. So that's going to be right there. Again, wrap it around nice and snug. So that's, I've done my my 3 out of 6 pieces. The smaller ones are maybe a little bit easier. So did anybody else out there get this bundle for a 50% off item? If you have purchased it yet. I'm grabbing one of my silicone sheets because this has adhesive on the back, and I want to make sure it doesn't stick to my paper here so I can put it down without any issue. Okay, a couple more pieces. When we get to this this end piece, it's a little bit, can be a little bit tricky. And again, I'm going to tuck it under, get it in place. Another glue dot. So now the question is, would you do this? Or is it too fussy? Comment and let me know. It's probably a lot easier to just do the die cuts and put it in, but then they wouldn't be glittery and shiny, right? And transparent. So that's why I did it. What we do for the creative, for what inspires us, right? that ribbon aside. Got these 2 more pieces to do. Whoop, the glue dot came off on my finger. Doesn't belong there. Yes, the contrasting cardstock would definitely be easier. Okay. And tucking it under. Wrap it around. Yeah, I didn't even use a glue dot, but that's okay. Worked okay. Now this one is going to have to wrap around on both ends. So I'm going to tuck that in. Actually, it needs to be all the way under. And again, the middle section is going to be covered up. So I thought I had a glue dot on here, but guess what? The adhesive's on the back and it's stuck before, so it should be good to stick again. And I'm just going to put a glue dot over that one because it's just the tiniest little bit of ribbon. I want to make sure it's got some good bite on that end. All right. That's the hard part. That's the hard part of this card. The rest is super easy. All right, so I'm going to actually leave my binder clips where they are on this end, and I'm going to start taking off some of my pieces. Where's my paper piercing tool? So my paper piercing tool is going to come in handy, especially for getting these adhesive sheet piece backings off. And let's see if I can get my hand in there. That'll help. Definitely easier if it's one solid adhesive sheet, because then you'd just be pulling one piece off, not all these little tiny pieces. What I do for, you know, for saving materials. I hate to waste anything, guys. I don't know if anybody else is like that out there. Oh, you would do it? I saw Rita said she would do it. Yay, I'm so glad. I like to show things that people will actually do. Okay, so we got that much taken off. Notice I'm putting my hand here to hold it away from the paper because I don't want it to attach, you know, without me guiding it where it needs to be. So you see I'm pulling that portion off carefully. Don't want to rip the thing. Gonna let that just kind of stick out there, and then I need to get this side here. And I got the binder clips on the end, but that's okay. We'll deal with that once we get there. I just want to make sure I have control over how I place this, because I've been very careful to get that ribbon in just the right place. Now, the adhesive that's on here is also going to tack down the ribbon a little bit. So I like to kind of fiddle with the ribbon and make sure before I press it down that the ribbon is where it should be. I'm focusing and concentrating. I haven't looked at a comment lately. Oh, you would do that? I'm so glad, Melissa. So let's see. And if it's kind of poking up, I can like put it under the piece as well. Hold it in place. And the most important part that the ribbon needs to be in the right place is on the top section and on the bottom, because the middle, again, is going to get covered up. So down here where I'm working, I'm going to press down onto that. Okay, so I think we're pretty much there. Now, let's get the rest of this attached. I'm going to place that down so it doesn't stick to my paper while I do this portion. I got to take off the rest of my backings. Who else loves using binder clips? Anybody else out there use that as a tool? Okay, got a couple more pieces in the middle here. And then these ones, I could just pull off because it's continuous. And on this end, I don't need to worry about the ribbon, so it's a little bit less fussy. Okay, let's turn this over. And make sure that the designer paper is all positioned right. Whoa, yay. That's so satisfying to press this down, guys. I can't tell you how satisfying. You're always trying to save bits, Rita? Oh, yes. Yes. I have lots of in-progress containers as well. I'm with you on that. All right. Okay, so this is like my main, this is the main piece here. With this done, I am in very good shape for the rest of the card, coming together super fast. And I will tell you, if you think you should leave by now, don't, because I have another card sample to show you that I did that was not masculine. In fact, the opposite, very feminine. But I just had to use the other die in this set to show you sort of a similar card. So now I've got all that set on the back, and I've got adhesive around the ribbons, some adhesive in the middle. So this is all set to go. And I'm just going to center it right there on my Pacific Point cardstock. Turn that over, nice and good press. And then I'm going to grab my pieces for my inside. Got just a solid white piece for the inside. And the front is a couple of layers for a sentiment. So I stamped the happy birthday in the Slim Sayings set. Got to remember the names of these. And it's just going to go directly onto my piece of black. Now I put adhesive on the black strategically so that it would be at the bottom. There we go. So just going to place that on there. A nice little black frame for my sentiment. And then this piece right here is going to be essentially like an underline. Got some adhesive on the black, just on the bottom portion, so that I can underline my sentiment. Now this one I stamped at the same time because I thought, when I get around to figuring out what to do with this little fun piece, that the happy birthday would come in handy. So I got another birthday card coming. All right, now for this next part, I could go ahead and just attach this the way it is, but it seemed to me, just to make sure that it would all stay in place, that I should use a couple little extra glue dots in the low points, at the low points. So I'm just going to stick some glue dots in the low points. The adhesive that's on the back of the sentiment will take care of the high points. And glue dots are, I don't know, probably about the thickness, maybe a little bit less of cardstock. So it's going to kind of make this lower surface raise up to meet the sentiment piece. I love dimension, so I know all the thicknesses of all the different glue dots and adhesives that we have. Okay, so there we go. don't think I've forgotten anything. So there we go. I did it. A little labor intensive, but fun and pretty and shiny, makes it a little special. I did it without the ribbon, and it just was like, this is a birthday card. It needs to be like pretty and have some bling without being feminine, of course. Okay, so next I'm going to show you the other card that I made, and I often say here, like, I'm a purple girl and I'm not a pink girl. Well, I've kind of fallen in love with Magenta Madness. So I created this second card with the Magenta Madness. Now, Magenta Madness is one of the, 2022 in color. So it's going to be going away in May. So I'm kind of sad because I've finally fallen in love with a pink. When you mail a Slimline card, does it cost extra for postage? I think it does. In fact, I'm quite sure that it does. And Kimmy is on here. I think she knows everything there is to know about postage for odd size cards. So chime in, Kimmy, if you do know. So anyway, so yes, this is the other die that's in the set. And I love the two of them together. I love this for a girl. My daughter and husband came up today, and I was like, oh, this should be for my husband and this should be for my daughter. She loves pink. So I hid the card, turned it over. But anyway, this sentiment, I know the Magenta Madness is so pretty, Tracy, I agree, is also from the Slim Saying set. What a great sentiment, right? You really are fabulous. I just love that. I love sentiments that just it doesn't have to be for a specific occasion. It could be birthday, but it doesn't have to be. And then, of course, I die cut the whole die and pulled out the pink ones, the little pink shapes, and just inserted them in there with glue dots. This is raised up on dimensionals. And I did use the die for the background here. I got to show you. I actually christened this die today because I had never used it before. I used this die for my my Magenta Madness background and for the black one. So it was the, this one and this one. Now, these two are the same size, and this is the odd one. But so very fun to use these dies. They've got a different kind of stitching on them. Making it fun. And then I added a couple rhinestones on the end just to bling it up a little bit. So there are my cards. I will take pictures of them, photographs. They will be on my blog starting tomorrow. And if you're watching, whether you're watching the live or the replay, Slimlines don't require extra postage unless you go over the 1 ounce weight requirement. I knew you would know the answer to this, Kimmy. So awesome. Yeah, I was forgetting what I'm saying. This is what happens. I read comments and then it's like, whoo, where did my brain go? All right. So these will be on my blog on Saturday, and I will also this video will go live on YouTube on Saturday. So if you're watching live or the replay, please do comment, whether it's here on Facebook or on YouTube. And I will put in the description, both in Facebook and YouTube, the link to my Maker's Mojo Creative Escape event, the joining link, my host code, all that good stuff. And I'm going to actually turn the camera around so I can see you. Oh, you love the card? Wonderful. You can't see making it, though? Yeah, I get it. Doing that ribbon is a little bit challenging. When I was contemplating today's project, it was like, how many people would be willing to do this? But I had to do it anyway. And of course, this one is a little easier. Now, when I cut out the black for this die, I had a very thin edge. So this was super delicate when I put it together. So a little bit more of an edge. It's definitely easier. On this one, there was a little bit more of an edge. So I just started with a larger black piece, slightly larger. But I do love how delicate this is and how it turned out. And the delicate lines of the shape inside kind of match the edge as well. So it's kind of nice. Anyway, and do please share this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube, share in Facebook. I appreciate all that you guys do to help me keep doing what I love and sharing it with you. So let's see. Don't forget, Maker's Mojo, the RSVP deadline is the 20th of January. And you can get the event for free if you join my team. Let me know if you have questions about it. I'm always happy to have a phone conversation to help you decide if it makes sense for you, because it doesn't make sense for everybody. I'm glad you like the cards, Melissa. So I will be back in 2 weeks doing these every other week. I'm sorry if that's confusing to people. It's hard to keep track. But the next one will be January 27th, so 2 weeks from tonight. And, you know, I send a newsletter every week, so you get that contact from me and blog posts and links and everything in my newsletter. If you're not subscribed to my newsletter, please subscribe. I'm glad you like the cards, Sharon. Wonderful. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your new year, and that 2022 is amazing for you, filled with crafting and fun and love and good health, great health, ideally. So stay safe and wonderful and happy, and go craft, have fun. I hope I've inspired you in some way. So we'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye, everybody. Mwah. Thanks for joining me.